Good evening. The meeting of the Monroe Township Board of Education will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we please have a roll call, Mr. Gorski?
Mrs. Koloponowicz.
Here.
Mr. Tesler.
Here.
Ms. Antelis. Mr. Braverman.
Here.
Mr. Chiarella.
Here.
Mr. Kaufman.
Here.
Mr. Masters.
Here.
Mr. Poi.
Here.
Mr. Precioso is present. He just left for a moment. Mr. Zarneski.
Here.
Madam Board President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. In accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law, the Monroe Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted June 12, 2013, 1 at all schools, 2 Home News Tribune, 3 Cranberry Press, and 4 filed with the clerk of the municipality. At this time, we will go to a presentation of the Monroe Education Foundation grants, and I will ask Mr. Todd Edelman, who is the president of the Monroe Education Foundation, to please come to the microphone and present your grants. That is that we are, we're there already.
Beautiful. Out of close to a dozen grants this year, we awarded 5 grants for specific reasons, which I'll put with the with our grants that we have here with our certificates. The other grants, we got a lot this year for iPads. People requesting iPads. So as a foundation, we decided to do 2 iPads per school, and we're in the process of buying 32 gig iPads, 2 for each school, and the teachers can share them and start a program with the iPads. Technology seems to be the new way that we're going here. So I have the certificates. The first one will go to Lisa McHugh. Is Lisa here? I'm sorry, I was in the middle of getting these organized when you thing. Second one goes to Karen Berinsky for Out of This World Discoveries from Mill Lake Elementary School. Is Karen here? Okay. Karen Bresky and Brooke Krieger.
Right, Brooke Krieger, yes.
Brooke Krieger.
I think there may be a whole group of those.
Yep. Actually,
These are for Mill Lake School's Astronomy Night. We bring an astronomer to our school to teach the children using the indoor planetarium. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next one goes to Kristen Miller for uncovering the mysteries of our galaxy. Next one goes to Dennis Quinn from Mill Lake Elementary School for Out of This World Discoveries. I think that was part of the other one. We have a lot of those. Larissa Miller from Middle School TV Studio Set.
Thank you so much. Yay.
Patricia Van Gordon, The Connections Cafe. Kristen Branny.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Richards, Penguins on Parade from Barclay Brook, and Ashley Petley. There you go.
And we're going to send you some pictures of the Penguins live visit.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. The rest of the certificates are for the iPads that we're going to give out, and we also have a check from the foundation for Gorski.
That's the aggregate amount for all the grants,
Yep,
$4,700.
minus the iPads. One last thing I'd like to say.
Todd?
yeah.
Could you just speak into the microphone facing us because
Sure.
we can't hear you?
Sorry. One thing I just wanted to mention, I think everyone here knows what the foundation does and how we provide these grants to teachers. And the way we do that is through fundraisers. There's 2 fundraisers that we are coming up with this year. The first one's going to be right now tentatively on October 10th at the Make-A-Wish Castle over on Prineville Road, and it's going to be a Taste of Monroe. We're going to pull all of our local restaurants in, if anyone's ever been to a taste before, and we're going to get information out on that very soon. The second one, we're going to have, I actually had lunch with Rich Salvatore yesterday, and he runs a dance company up in New Brunswick, and they're doing a Nutcracker play that we're planning on doing here at the high school, and that's going to be sometime in December. So just wanted to let everyone know, if you guys can please support us, and we're always looking to recruit members for the foundation and help us out. So thank you very much.
And we just want to thank you and the rest of your members of the Monroe Education Foundation for your support of the schools and our students. It's
Thank you.
much appreciated.
Thank you.
The next on the agenda, number 6, is a recognition of retirees. And tonight is always an exciting night and a kind of a bittersweet night to recognize them, because it's an opportunity for us to honor all of these retiring employees who have retired during the past year. And each of them have had the unique opportunity to make a difference in the lives of countless number of students during their time in Monroe. And we just want to let them know how much we appreciate what they've done and wish them continued happiness and success in their future. So at this time, Dr. Hamilton, do you want to?
Yes.
give
I'll
this?
read one of the plaques as we call them up, so we won't have to read every single one of them. It reads, resolution, whereas the Board of Education of the Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, has been apprised of the retirement, be it resolved by the Board of Education, Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, and the State of New Jersey, that the said Board of Education wishes to acknowledge its appreciation for services rendered to the students and citizens of Monroe Township, whereas it is desired to express recognition for the many years of faithful service. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Township of Monroe that it does hereby express its warm appreciation and heartfelt thanks for the dedicated and faithful service in the performance of these duties and of the integrity with which these duties have been carried out, and regrets the loss of such a respected employee. Be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the Board of Education, and that a copy be given to the recognized employee. Passed unanimously by the Township of Monroe Board of Education at its regular meeting of June 19, 2013. Signed, Kathy Koloponowicz, Board President, and attested by Mr. Michael Gorski, Board Secretary. Yes. Our first retiree for this evening, Maria Ledbetter, custodian, Monroe Township High School. Joy Sweeney, confidential secretary to the Business Administrator Board Secretary, Monroe Township Board of Education. Pamela O'Neill, guidance counselor, Mill Lake School. Diane Shadell, third grade teacher, Woodland School. Susan Kroswitz, did I pronounce that right? Family, teacher of Family Consumer Science, Monroe High School. Congratulations on your retirement. Teddy McElnicky, Assistant Principal, Oak Tree School. And Ronnie Grossman, teacher of basic skills, Mill Lake School. This is to recognize our student board representative and a certificate of appreciation to Aneri Patel and sincere appreciation for your dedicated service to the students and schools of Monroe Township while serving as a student board member of the Monroe Township Board of Education from 2011 to 2013, signed by Board President Kathy Koloponowicz and Mr. Michael Gorski. Aneri?
Aneri has been our student board member for the past 2 years, and while she's been a member of Monroe Township High School, she's been a part of the National Honor Society, the Spanish Honor Society, the Multicultural Club, and the Honor Roll. And she has volunteered her time at Robert Wood Johnson Hospital and has tutored at the Monroe Township Public Library. She plans to attend Rutgers University in the honors program in the fall, majoring in pre-med and biological science, so that's very lofty goals. On behalf of the board, I'd just like to wish you congratulations and continued success in your future, and we hope that you come back and visit us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Not this year.
At this time, we will go to number 8 on the agenda, the student presentation for Dare to Dream. Dr. Hamilton?
Excuse me, you forgot the board members' reports, student board members' reports.
That comes after.
Oh, okay, sorry. My bad, I thought it said.
Oh, there isn't. Yes, I'm sorry.
To move this. We'll move it back. Is that good? Is that good?
Yep.
Okay. On May 23rd, for the 8th time, I was granted the permission to take students to the Dare to Dream Student Leadership Conference held at Middlesex County College. It is a conference for students, run by students that have demonstrated exemplary student leadership and self-advocacy skills. And this year, our keynote speaker, I present to you tonight, is Joseph Rasky. He spoke beautifully there, and he wants to share his words with you here.
Thank you for that introduction, Ms. Friedman. My name is Joey Rasky, and I'm a senior right now in this high school. I have a diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome. It affects my educational performance in areas of thinking, reading, and written language. I'm eligible for special education under the criteria under the criteria for autistic and a specific learning disability in the area of reading comprehension. I went to Project Help in Monroe starting at 3 years old. When I started the program, I maybe was able to say 20 words at a time, but by the time I made it to kindergarten, I was able to speak it with a full vocabulary. Communication and nonverbal skills that come natural to most people, I had to learn them. I had to learn facial expressions, showing emotions, so I had to be taught what happy, sad, mad, confused, upset, every emotion, what it looked like for me. Idioms in English were really confusing for me. I always took everything very literal. For example, the expression, don't cut yourself short. I thought it meant cut yourself at your knees and sell the other half. It sounds silly, but I really didn't understand them. I no longer take things so literally. When I was younger, I had difficulty changing my routine. If my routine changed, sometimes I would get angry and misbehave. It took about 6 years of behavior therapy and guidance from my parents before I learned to cope with change. I learned to advocate for myself at an early age. I chose to play baseball at 9 years old, and next a couple years after, I decided to play football at age 12. This year was a decision I made on my own. Even though I made this decision on my own, I was still dependent of my mom to speak to my coaches for me if I was going to be late for practice or anything. I remember always, we read that part. Through the encouragement my mom gave me, I learned to speak up for myself. Now at high school, my self-advocacy skills have gotten so good that a lot of times my mom doesn't even know what happened, such as when it's Student of the Month in January, the Dare to Dream, the Good News Bulletin, because, yeah, Mom, I wasn't going to tell you about that. You're lucky that Miss Freeman actually emailed you before I forgot. At my IEP meetings, instead of having the teachers speak about how I'm doing, I speak up and explain my strengths in each class and where I can use help. From freshman year to now, I can say that my confidence level has kept increasing. And in school, I had to work really hard. I moved from a self-contained class to resource classes to mainstream classes in high school. This took a lot of time, hard work, and dedication to all subjects in school. As a senior, 4 out of my 6 classes are in the mainstream. I have also been able to reduce the amount of accommodations in my IEP. I have learned to capitalize on my strengths by knowing how I learn best and advocating on a regular basis. As a young child, I faced many social issues that were difficult. Since come on, when I started preschool, I was the most antisocial kid there, and I really just kept my mouth shut the whole time. And now when I'm at home, I can't even shut up anymore. They wish for me to shut up. And which when I met new people, I would often hide behind my parents or hide somewhere in my house because, yeah, I was shy. In which one of my best friends who I've known since preschool, who's actually a senior right now at this high school, he really helped me by introducing me to his other friends and involving me in recreational activities. Now in my high school, I've been a member on the football team all 4 years, since you can even ask the coaches back there, they know. In which I've been on the track team for 3 years, and like I said, you guys can Mr. DeBellis on that part. Skip the whole iPad thing. No. I'm a visual learner. One of the things that helps me in school is being able to use an iPad to do my schoolwork. The iPad has so many different colors that catch my eye, and the visual prompts actually help me to focus better. I have always used flashcards to study and mind mapping prior to writing a paper. The visuals help me to focus and accomplish the tasks I need to complete for school. Because come on, if I'm reading a textbook, I might as well would have fallen asleep in my world history class in freshman year and have figured Mr. Biggest drop textbooks on top of me trying to wake me up. Yeah, I know. Once I started high school, one of my goals was to be able to go to college after high school graduation. This year I applied to 3 schools. I'm very interested in forensic science and would like to be an investigator. I'm proud to say that next year I'm going to be attending Long Island University Post. I will be a part of the program for academic success. It is a college program that gives many support services for students that have learning disabilities. I'm looking forward to taking advantage of all the support I need to achieve all of my goals. I already told you that I played on the high school football team for 4 years, but what this year was a quote that my mom found and put it in the pamphlet for the high school's football team stuff, and which was said by Vince Lombardi, who is probably one of the most decorated Green Bay Packers coaches since he made the Super Bowl happen. He said, "Football is like life. It requires perseverance, self-denial, hard work, sacrifice, and dedication, and respect of authority. I feel I have persevered in football, academics, and will continue to do so in all aspects of my life. Everyone needs goals and dreams to achieve. Never give up on your dreams until they become reality." Thank you. And thank you, Board of Ed.
What a great success story. And not only is he
Thank you.
you were a wonderful speaker, but you have a great sense of humor. And I think I'd like to hire you to come to each board meeting. We could use a sense of humor every once in a while. And I'm sure that it's just an example of all the great things that we do in our district. And we got to thank your family and your teachers who have supported you all these years. So good luck in your future. I was so excited about giving Aneri her plaque that I forget to let her speak. So we'll have their student board members' reports now. And Aneri, you can keep your name tag.
Before I start, I just want to say thank you for being so lenient and understanding this year. You guys have set a great example for me to follow in college, and I hope to take on more challenging roles like this in the future. So thank you so much for this award. It means a lot to me.
And I'll be back next year, so I'll see you all again. And this has been a really good experience for me too, and I'm excited to, as Aneri has done for me, teach someone how to, write down the events for the month, I guess. No, I'm kidding. But the events that have taken place in June are the fourth marking period ends June 14th, and final exams began Tuesday and end on Friday. Makeup finals are June 21st and June 24th. Graduation practice is on June 21st, June 24th, and June 25th. And high school graduation is on June 24th at Sun National Bank. June 25th, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. At this time, about 3 months ago, a motion was made by Mr. Chiarella to move our committee reports to the beginning of the meeting instead of after the meeting is almost over. We went through the process of doing that. We had to go to the policy committee and have that policy revised, and then it was approved by the Board of Education at the last board meeting. It is not written on the agenda today. It's still in the same place, but next month in July, it will be where it should be now, the new spot. but I'm going to ask for a motion and a second to move it today to the, before the public forum, and we can get the committee reports done. Mr. Chiarella? Is there a second? Second by Mr. Masters. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, then at this time, we will go to our committee reports. And is there anyone who has a committee report that needs to be done tonight?
Go figure.
No? Mr. Masters?
We had a finance committee meeting June 17th. We had a recommendation to change the food service management company, which we approved, to a different food service management company with a guarantee of over $90,000 in give back. We opened the bid results, or we opened the bid for the appointment of a lender. Right now, we're looking at TD Finance. They have a really favorable rate of 1.36%, so that'll be a very positive improvement. We talked about the bid openings for the roof replacement. I'm screwing something up. Thank you. We're recommending that we go with a company called Architectural Concept Construction for $167,500, minus a $6,000 deduction because we're going to try to do the roof in September instead of July and August. We had a MECA update about enrollment. We also discussed the loan payback schedule. We decided we're going to wait until we have the final numbers in at the end of the year, this year, before we finalize anything. We discussed 50%, a stepped portion, all kinds of different things, but we're going to hold off on that. But it is in process. And we also had...
Do you want to start all over again?
Yeah, I want to start. Ira, you want to recap all that for me?
Sure,
From the beginning? I did it. I told you every meeting. We did have an update on the S2307. We had a good turnout last week. Testimony between to the Budget and Appropriation Committee, and it did pass. Thank you, everybody that showed up. Thank you, administration. Now we're waiting for the next step. Currently, there is no timeline. We're waiting for a date of the hearing, but we always need more support. It's an inch that we're moving. We're moving an inch at a time, but it is our inch, and it is making progress, so that's a very positive thing. And that's pretty much it for finance.
Finance. Anyone else?
I have one more.
Mr. Masters?
We had a Middlesex County Regional Educational Service Commission meeting on June 7th. This one's easy. It was basically a reorg meeting. We did all the new housekeeping, new schedules, sworn in the new officers. There were some cooperative bids approved for things like toilet paper and paper towel, stuff like that. You can find it all online under their website. It's a very lengthy agenda. It's several hundred pages. So you're always welcome to take a look at it, but that's pretty much it.
Anyone else need to speak? Okay, so then we will move on to the public forum. Anyone from the public wishing to speak to the agenda, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Ryback, 23 Riviera Drive. Can I speak to letter V on page 30?
B?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. 30?
Page 30. It's the interfund loan to Mecca. In May, this board, over the objections of many residents that evening, and even Mr. Precioso, voted to approve to continue the Mecca program and to expand it into a half-day kindergarten program. We learned that it was operating in the red. There was no, at that time, there was no business plan. It seems like many questions weren't answered. And you didn't have, I guess I have to say, you didn't do your homework in developing this program fully to be able to answer all those questions. At the last meeting, the issue came up at a public forum, and we learned that there was also a $9,000 loan. Now I'm looking at a $40,000 loan that's being proposed. Why are we playing with this program when obviously we're not really prepared financially to have such such programs. The people of this community, as you are well aware, cannot afford kinds of programs like this that we just haven't done our homework enough to put in. We don't know if it's going to be successful or not. It seems, you said it seems like it's going to be running a profit. Well, if it's running a profit, why are we considering another loan? I think that you need to vote this program down and take a look at how you're spending our money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Tom Notstein, 15 Nathaniel Street. With regards to, under Business Administrator's Report, V as in Victor, it looks like, according to my math, this is the fourth, can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Gorski, this is the fourth transfer for a total of $302,500. Is that accurate?
305,000.
305,000, okay, I knew my math was wrong. That's why you're the business administrator. I'm just trying to wonder, I was at the last two finance committee meetings, and I didn't hear any mention of this $40,000 additional interfund transfer. How did that come about, and how does that get on the agenda without getting discussed at the finance committee?
Mr. Gorski?
The agenda item for the last finance committee meeting was to discuss the enrollment and have an enrollment update. Subsequent to that meeting, we did another interim financial update for the MECA program and determined that another transfer for $40,000 is needed to provide working capital to carry it through June 30th. And that's, you know, it was recommended in the business administrator's report. It was sent to the board in advance. It's not so much a deliberative item as we've discussed these other transfers before. You know, the money is needed for salaries and operational costs.
And that wouldn't be something that would be typically discussed at a finance committee?
I think it was
Excuse me.
brought up in the past when we were talking about other transfers, that there was a possibility that there could be another one before the end of the school year to get us to the end.
But wouldn't that, I mean, wouldn't you want the finance committee to discuss that and maybe
I think it had been discussed a while ago at the finance committee.
prior to two meetings, prior to the business plan that was presented?
Yes.
With regards to that business plan that was presented two finance committee meetings ago, why has that not been made public? I understand, I asked a board member and they told me that it was deliberative. At what point does it become non-deliberative, and how can a plan actually be deliberative based on, you know, you're giving numbers, hard numbers? I don't understand why. What are you deliberating on? I guess that's to make a long question shorter.
The plan will be made available. The numbers are changing every day. Actually, they changed as recently as today, in fact. So our intent is at the close of this fiscal year, June 30th, to finalize the plan and operate with what the budget will look like, what the revenue and expenditures will look like for the new year, beginning August 1st. And at that point, the plan will be made public, no longer deliberative.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Gorski?
Also, as Mr. Masters pointed out before, there are some deliberative items that are still being designed for the plan, such as the very important loan payback schedule. That's going to be based on a percentage of profit for certain periods of time. For example, if we reach $50,000 worth of profit, 50% of that will be applied to the loan for repayment. So to provide enough working capital to continue, but to address the loan in a formal fashion and make it into the business plan.
And because the MECA program had a very late start last year, we knew that this was going to be the year, transitional year, a kind of new business opening up. We knew that they would need help this year because, like I said, they had a late start in getting people to be part of MECA. But as of now, we have enough people in both the MECA and the kindergarten enrichment program to support the numbers. And as soon as we start working in September, coming back and knowing everything that's finalized, we will be able, as Mr. Masters said, to look at a payback plan based on how much we're expecting to get and how much we feel that we can start giving back to the Board of Education. Anyone else from the public?
My name's Kirsten Rasky. I live in Monroe. Joey's my son. And I just want to take this forum to thank everybody, to thank especially a lot of these people that are here. A lot of Joey's teachers are here. His football coaches are here. The letters that he has gotten. Joey is a product of the Monroe Township school system. He went into Project Help when Project Help was at Woodland School when he was 3 years old. I put a child on a bus that had 50 words, if even that, and cried and looked at Barbara Hirsch and thought she was out of her everlasting mind. She was my savior, as well as all these other teachers are. I don't know what I would have done without them. I don't know what Joey has done without them. Our program has come so far, and I'm so excited of all the improvements that I've seen. And I can't wait to see what happens for these other kids. But thank you for doing this for him.
Thank you.
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. I would like to thank Joey and his mom for all the hard work they've done. And I'm glad that we do see successes in the Monroe Board of Education. I know I come up and criticize a lot, but when it works, and I know there are wonderful teachers in this district, and I'm very grateful for the hard work that they do to help all students. And again, thanks Joey for all his hard work. However, let's go back to Mecca. I also, because sometimes things don't seem to work, and we have to, we have to really be open and honest about these things. As I've mentioned in the past, it's not that I am opposed to the philosophy and idea of Mecca, but the way it's being presented and the way it has evolved in terms of how much information and transparency has been given to the public, I think is suspect. I have been attending I know you guys do a great job and you're volunteer, and I appreciate that, but the citizens, there's a lot of citizens in Monroe and the public that attends these meetings as well, because we choose to be informed about what's going on. We want to make the right decisions also. We are the shareholders, and I think it's been said here that the taxpayers are the shareholders. Sometimes we're not treated as though we are. I think $40,000 is a significant number. I think it's something that should have been discussed openly at the finance meeting. It pops up here. I don't know if Mr. Gorski came up with that figure. He was told to put it up. Like, who is responsible? Who is responsible for that figure and having it put on the agenda?
Mr. Gorski?
Yes. Hi, Michelle. I was responsible for that number and putting it on the business administrator's report. And again, it was a result of reviewing the operations for the program through May 31st and determining that there was a deficit because expenditures are exceeding current revenues. Therefore, it necessitated another transfer for working capital purposes.
Okay. Well, I don't understand why it's still in a deliberative state, because we know about it. It's a plan that's already been instituted. It's a work in progress. So I don't know why these numbers aren't given forthcoming. In the finance meeting and in some of the board meetings, we've heard board members say it's profitable already, we're going to start making money, and then there's a change in gear. My objection to the way this is that at best it's an evasive practice that you're not giving the figures, and at worst it's deception. And again, the public is asking for the facts. You would get more support for programs if we weren't blindsided at meetings, and when people ask for details, they're giving, like I said last month, half-truths. We have a right, we're taxpayers, you're asking us to pay our taxes to put this through. We want good systems. We want kids like Joey to succeed. But in order to do that, you need to tell us about these things, and it should be something that the public is aware of, and the transparency is just not there. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
Robert Roach, 18 Muirfield Boulevard, Monroe. I think $300,000 would have been much better spent on programs like Joey has, instead of being thrown at a babysitting program. I want to go to the business report on Z, page 31. It's with the new food service program. It says there is a guaranteed financial return of $95,000 plus for 2013, 2014. What does that mean?
Mr. Gorski?
As part of the RFP process, request for proposal, a standard template was sent to potential bidders as well as advertised pertaining to the number of meals served, the number of operational days, the school calendar, and so on. And the Metz Culinary Group guaranteed a bottom line net income of $95,582 after the 13-14 school year is concluded. That means that they guarantee a profit. Many school districts are struggling with enterprise programs, particularly the food service program, so much so that the state has made it prohibitive to transfer money from the general fund into the cafeteria programs. Ours has always been profitable. With this new proposal, this will better serve students because this profit will help keep lunch prices down, as well as ensure that the taxpayers will never be asked for help to subsidize the cafeteria program.
So that profit then just goes back into the operation of the cafeteria program.
That's correct, and it also is a big factor in determining lunch prices in the subsequent year.
That's within the proprietary fund?
Yes, sir.
So, and as is Mecca in the proprietary fund. Can there be loans? The proprietary fund for the cafeteria program at the end of June 30, 2012 had over $600,000 in unrestricted net assets. Now, why couldn't that money have been loaned to Mecca, since they're in the same funds, versus taking money out of the general fund to fund Mecca?
It could have.
Why wasn't it?
It's more customary to have interfund loans provided by the general fund. The food service fund has never loaned interfund transactions to other funds because that's not what it's designed for. It's meant to have as close to a break even every year as possible to ensure that you're charging appropriate lunch prices and so on. The retained earnings that you're referring to at the end is the accumulation of profits over the years, and that's being used in the future for additional serving lines and ovens and cash registers and fixed asset purposes.
Well, fiscal
the board just approved a new delivery truck for the food service operation for about $60,000 because the 1991 model rusted out. That will come out of that $600,000.
The program for ending 2012 had a $73,000 profit. So you got $600,000 sitting there, and and the general fund didn't have that type of money. I mean, was it even considered to transfer the money from the within the what do you call that, proprietary fund?
No, for the reasons that I just mentioned. That fund is not designed.
That wasn't even discussed?
It doesn't have the magnitude of the general fund to provide loans, and that could have jeopardized the operational capital of that fund to be loaning out money.
What was the unused surplus in the general fund at the time?
The surplus in the
Was it over 600,000? Let me ask you that.
There's two figures. There's the excess surplus calculation, which goes to subsequent year's budget as required by law. That was about $4.6 million, if I recall correctly. And as required by the state, there's about 1.8 million held in reserve in the general fund as required by law. If you dip below that, you have to ask county permission.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Mary Ann Lester, 44 Avenue I. I have 5 questions, and excuse me if I did miss some information along the way. Page 27, what is item being transferred? It's listed as transfer number 11. Page 28, what were the architectural fees of DI Group Architecture for their services as listed on the agenda of partial re-roofing and site improvements at the Monroe Township Middle School? And what is the ROD grant funding that you are requesting in conjunction with this? Page 30, you don't state the budget amounts for the 2 IDEA budgets. Page 31, what is the rate of...
Excuse me, Marian, can you just give us one at a time? Or
do I get all, are you going to answer all my questions?
If you just give us the number or the...
Okay, page 27D.
27D is transfer number 11.
Right.
That's the 11th transfer of the school year. Transferring between budgetary accounts is customary and normal because when you prepare a school budget, you can't be that specific and that exact with budgetary items. And during the year, when additional students come on our enrollment, or prices change, or items become obsolete and you have to change your plan, transfers are required to move money within funds, and it's normal and customary and allowed by the county office. The schedule is attached.
Okay, page 28F. What were the architectural fees of DI Group Architecture for their services? As listed on the agenda, there was partial re-roofing and site improvements at the Monroe Township Middle School. And what do you mean by, or what are you requesting with the ROD grant?
Item F is the state of New Jersey just put forth that they have money available to help schools with construction projects called ROD grants, regular operating districts. And through the efforts of Jerry Tague and myself, we were quick to jump into this pool of money and request a ROD grant, which goes up to 40% of the expenditures that you are improving and get a reimbursement from the state. In this instance for F, as part of the 13-14 school budget, we're replacing the Monroe Township Middle School Performing Arts Center roof for a total cost of about $500,000, including engineering fees. And this ROD grant, if approved, could reimburse us for up to 40% of the cost. So that's why we wanted to get the application in right away. And this is the authorization by the board in order to do so.
Okay, but what was the architectural fees by DI Group? Because they're going to be submitting it.
It was about $40,000 to $60,000, included in that 500 number I gave you before.
Okay. Page 30, P and Q. You don't state the budget amounts for the 2 IDEA budgets there? You don't give the dollar amount.
The IDEA budgets are grants from the state. All the grants were attached for the board's review. And I could go over all those amounts with you before. Unfortunately, they're not as much as we would like. We're not eligible for that much in terms of grant funding as other districts are. And that's because we don't have a lot of LEP or at-risk students for the most part.
But what's the dollar amount of the budget, though, for?
There's several different budgets. There's IEDA, basic preschool. There's NCLB has several different grants within it. I'd have to go over the list with you.
You just can't give me a general one for P and Q?
It would take too long to go through and pick it out.
Okay. I can get that information then at the next
Absolutely.
meeting? Okay.
I'll talk to you after the meeting and satisfy that
Okay,
question.
page 31X. What is the rate for the legal services for the board to be paid to the law firm Willens, Golden, and Spitzer? You should just say the rate is the same as last year. I don't know that rate. And does that include any extraordinary litigation? Because the town, we have constantly pay extraordinary litigation for the township also.
I have to find the contract. Bear with me.
Okay.
board will pay the firm, Wilentz Goldman Spitzer, an annual retainer of $54,000 for up to 30 hours of professional legal services each month. The board will pay the firm an hourly rate of $175 for shareholders, $165 for associates and counsel, and $95 for paralegals for matters not covered by the retainer. The board will also reimburse the firm for costs such as computer research, UPS overnight, messenger, long-distance telephone calls, facsimile, photocopy, and the like.
And the last one, page 31Y. How many bids were submitted for the partial roof replacement at the middle school? Was Arch Concept Construction the lowest bid, and what was the bid amount? I know you said mentioned something about you were using Arch for something else before, I think, too.
There were a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total of 9 bids. Arch Concept was the lowest at $167,500,
Okay.
and the highest was $460,000.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public forum and go to the superintendent's report. Dr. Hamilton?
Yes. Before I begin my report, we have another retiree present this evening that I'd like to acknowledge. Mrs. Kalapana, if you join me at the microphone. I'd like to recognize this evening Mr. John Devine, teacher of the handicap at Monroe Township Middle School. Okay, moving on to the superintendent's report. Enrollment data comparing May and June is enclosed in your agenda, along with the enrollment for out-of-district placement and those students who are currently on homebound instruction. Fire drills and safety drills are listed on the agenda as well. And that takes us to our personnel report. And before I get into the personnel report, I just want to say that all resignations are bittersweet because we share in the excitement of new beginnings for those who are making positive career advances. But we are particularly saddened by the resignation of Pam Garcia and Joey Menzel and Teresa Taylor, who are both resigning to move on to other aspects of their career. And I just want to thank them for their service to the district, and we certainly wish them well. So, Madam Board President and members of the Board of Education, it is recommended by the superintendent that personnel items A through JJ be approved by roll call vote.
Mr. Chiarella? Second by Mr. Prezioso. Is there any comments or questions for Dr. Hamilton? Okay, seeing none, we'll have a roll call.
Mr. Braverman?
Yes, except the new position under double I.
That's a no on the new position under double I.
Yes.
So noted. Mr. Chiarella?
Yes.
Mr. Zarneski?
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes to all recused on T as in Tom.
So noted. Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Mr. Poi?
Yes, except I would like to once again state that for all of the various clubs and extracurricular activities, I'm looking forward to receiving a report on the level of involvement that we have there. I realize that this particular item is just approving the people and the salaries, but I think it would be important for the members of the board to, at some point, maybe before the end of the summer or early next year, to know what the level of involvement of those various clubs are. Thank you.
Mr. Tesler.
Yes.
Mrs. Koloponowicz.
Yes.
Mr. Precioso.
Oh, sorry.
Yes to everything, and also I'd like to know about why we should be, and letter Y, I'm sorry. As Doug said, we should be looking at these clubs to see what's working, what's not, and what's filled, and where we could save some money down in the future, but I vote yes.
Thank you. Madam Board President, personnel items A through double J passes.
Okay, board action items, Madam Board President, members of the Board of Education. It is recommended by the superintendent that board action items A through G be passed by roll call vote.
Mr. Chiarella? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tesler. Again, any comments or questions for Dr. Hamilton? Mr. Masters?
What is the E-rate? We were discussing, I know, in that one policy where I was subbed in, about looking at an alternate version of it, or even just looking into it. I was just curious what the status of that was.
Yes. E-rate is a program where on everybody's utility bill, there's an additional tax. And the aggregate amount of monies accumulated in this tax go to different applicants for reimbursements on technology purchases, mainly utilities like internet access and phone lines. The district participates in E-rate, whereas an E-rate provider goes out and does all the paperwork associated with this grant. And I believe on an annual basis, we receive back in rebates a net of about $100,000 for E-rate.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll have a roll call.
Mr. Braverman.
Yes.
Mr. Chiarella. Mr. Zarneski.
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Masters.
Yes.
Mr. Poi.
Yes.
Mr. Tesler.
Yes.
Mrs. Koloponowicz.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso.
Yes.
Madam Board President, board action items A through G passes.
Thank you.
And before I conclude my report, I'd just like to acknowledge all of our retirees this evening. Thank you for your years of service to our students and our community. And to Aneri, good luck to you. You've done an excellent job serving on the board. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay, at this time, we will go to the business administrator's report. Doctor, I'll give you a doctorate if you'd like.
My mom will be
Mr.
so proud.
Gorski.
Madam Board President and members of the Monroe Township Board of Education, it is recommended that board action items A through double A be approved by consent roll call.
Second.
Mr. Masters and Mr. Chiarella, are there comments or questions for Mr. Gorski?
Mike, under B, just confirm, that's $200?
Yes, sir. The bill list for the new high school bond series was only $200.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Mr. Boy?
Item double A, it's the resolution for lease purchasing, and I believe the members of the board were provided with a lot of documentation separately from the agenda. And I noticed in that documentation that we were ordering, I believe, or lease purchasing an additional 125 iPads for next year. I don't know if anyone can elaborate on the need for the additional 125 iPads, and I'm particularly concerned with how many iPads this year might have been damaged to the point that they have to be replaced.
Madam Chair? Sure. The answer to the iPad, the entire lease purchase consists of the following items. Technology was $339,628. Buses, $380,000. Vans, $110,000. Copy machines, $94,200. Telecommunication, $288,557. fiber lines, $35,100, and security upgrades, $54,154. The iPads were previously presented to various committees and the board, and they are not for damage, but they are solely for student growth. They are to provide new iPads for the increasing numbers of students at the high school.
Anyone else?
I have
Mr. Chiarella.
I want to know what item N is, the school physician, and what the services of the school physician will be for.
Item N is for the school physician who provides a great deal of student physicals for sports throughout the year. The majority of them are in the beginning of the school year, but as students decide to join different sports during the year, he's quite busy. We have a great number of students who participate in athletic programs here requiring the service. His fee has been the same, or held the same, by the board for the last 5 years. And it's a monthly fee of $1,753, and his contract is being furnished to him at the conclusion of this recommended passage tonight.
He also attends sports events as well.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Prezioso?
Item V, the interfund loan. We're at $305,000 right now. Does that include the $40,000 that we prepared to vote on?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and that is to June 31st?
At the end of this school year, June
So
30th,
we'll be looking to
June
borrow
30th.
more money right after June, correct?
Are we looking to borrow more money?
We'll borrow more money in order to fund the program.
I will ask Mr. Gorski to answer that question.
There's a good possibility that we may have to borrow more working capital for the months of July and August because we have fixed expenses that continue. However, the light at the end of the tunnel is that we have very good projected enrollment numbers for September, and the need for additional working capital loans should subside after August, and we should see a reversal where these loans hopefully begin to get paid back.
The parents that signed up, when are they responsible to pay the full amount of the tuition?
In September, correct.
And I have a problem. I'm a finance committee member, and this was never discussed in finance, and I feel that since it's a $40,000 loan, and I think it should have been discussed at the finance meeting. And I had no idea this was going to be another loan, so it's just a statement I'm making.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And as far as having a problem changing the agenda's changed all the time with committee meetings, so I'm a little disappointed that this was not on the Finance Committee agenda. That's all.
Anyone else have a comment, a question for Mr. Gorski? Mr. Masters?
It's a request. The MRESC cooperative. Do we know off the top of your head how much we save by being a part of that? Because I know there's expenses to being a part of it. If you don't have the number now, I'd love to, maybe at the next finance, because it's something I'm curious about.
I'm very familiar with the number as it was an update in the superintendent's action plan. According to correspondence from the Middlesex Regional Ed Service Commission Purchasing Consortium, Monroe Board of Education saved over $500,000 in supply orders alone for the year and a half that we've been part of this program. The aggregate bids that they solicit through the county are so large that there's economies of scale that districts can't recognize by going out to bid on their own. In fact, the figures through these bids are even lower than if you purchase them under state contract where the state does the bidding. So the board's decision to join this purchasing consortium is paying great dividends.
You said 500,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Then we'll have a roll call.
Mr. Braverman.
Yes.
Mr. Chiarella.
Yes.
Mr. Zarneski.
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman.
Yes.
Mr. Masters.
Yes.
Mr. Poi.
Yes.
Mr. Tesler.
Yes.
Mrs. Koloponowicz.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso.
Yes on everything but F.
That's a no on F as in Frank. Sir? No as in F.
Oh, I'm sorry. V, I'm sorry.
V as in Victor. So noted.
Yes on F. V.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the board president's report, and for my board president's report, I'm going to ask Mr. Gorski to give you an update on S2307. I think you've had an update since we met last Thursday.
Thank you. We've talked previously about the success that we've had at the first level, which is a hearing at the Senate Budget and Appropriations Committee. There was a favorable vote on our legislation after testimony was provided by stakeholders to the importance of this legislation in reducing taxes and specifically being sensitive to the senior population in town. This legislation does not ask for additional money. It does not pit district against district, but it simply asks the state to fund its own funding model for districts with greater than 1/3 senior populations aged 65 years or older, according to the last decennial census. I had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Jim Hooker, Chief of Staff for Senator Greenstein, yesterday, and according to Mr. Hooker, there's increasing interest in this legislation by various senators. A Senator Hoefler, Hoefler, from Ocean County, called Senator Greenstein and asked if he could co-sponsor the bill, and she welcomed him to do so, and I understand he has signed on to the bill. There are other senators who are very interested in this legislation and the effect that it has on seniors and reducing taxes. And the next step, according to Mr. Hooker, is that it will go to the full Senate for a vote. An additional bill called A3478 is in existence in the Assembly currently, as we've presented to the board previously, and that could be acted on at any time, first at the Assembly Education Committee. If it passes the Assembly Education Committee, which according to Mr. Hooker, there's a good expectation it will, then it will go to the full vote of the Assembly. According to Mr. Hooker, there's a very good chance that this could pass the Assembly Education Committee, the Senate, and the full Assembly by the time that they adjourn for vacation. That would leave it for the governor's vote, and there is no expiration date on that.
Second.
Thank you.
It's very important for our community to get in touch with the senator, our senator, and probably any other one you'd like to get in touch with. I believe, especially Senator Sweeney, because he's the head of the Senate. I believe that they heard from about 2,000 members of this community, and with 45,000 members in this, people living in this community, it would be to our advantage to get as many people as possible involved in this. The more they hear from it, the more they will support it. So if you have want to send petitions in, if you need some information, where to send it, we have the information at the board office.
It's on the website as well.
It's on the website. We'd be glad to get it to you, but in the next 2 weeks, because I believe they close for the summer the 30th of June, we really all have to do as much as possible to get the support for this. And the other thing I just have to say for my board president's report is to wish everybody, since this is the end of the 2012-13 school year, a very happy, healthy, safe summer. We've already done committee reports. So is there any other business by any member of the Board of Education? Mr. Prezioso?
Yes, I would like to thank all the teachers that are retiring, and I have a special thanks for Dr. Taylor. I told my son about your retirement or your resignation, and he was very upset. I want to thank you. You followed my son all the way through, and he's made leaps and bounds, and we're going to miss you. And to most of the special needs teachers out there, thank you very much. I know you get a great satisfaction out of helping our children, and God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa.
Anyone else? Mr. Chiarella?
Yes, I just wanted to thank Aneri for her service. You're a wonderful young lady, and I wish you luck. I think you have a very bright future. We're going to miss you, but I hope you're going to become a doctor, a medical doctor, because we are a very unhealthy group. I'm hoping that you'll be able to bag it. But I just wanted to thank you for your service and let you know that you're going to be missed. But I also wanted to thank the public and the Board of Education for attending, everyone who attended the Senate hearing. I thought that was a great turnout, and I really thought that it was nice to see the community come out in full force. And it wasn't just teachers, or it wasn't just parents. It was a mix of senior citizens and young people and parents, and it was everyone. It was the entire community, and that's the kind of thing that we need to see, because our battle, although it might seem like it's in here against each other, our real battle is out there against the inequities in the funding formula, and that's really where we need to be together as one in order to fight that. So I just wanted to thank everyone and thank Dr. Hamilton and Mr. Gorski and the members of the public who spoke and gave testimony there. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Mr. Kaufman?
Yeah, this is more business related, and congratulations to all the retirees. Teresa, we're going to miss you, and God bless. Happy end of the year. I did get a call from a colleague of mine who worked or is part of another school board in another district that just went through a security audit. They hired an outside company to come in and basically take a look at all their facilities and just kind of look something over. And because I'm an alternate, I'm not on buildings and grounds, I would ask that one thing that they found that, you kind of want to scratch your head saying, wow, I hope we don't have that here. They came up with a finding that some of their exterior steel doors on some of their buildings had no ability to see outside, either through a peephole or through a camera. And invariably, when they did the security audit, somebody knocked on the door, they opened the door. So might want to be a good idea to run through all of our buildings to see and make sure that at the very least we have peepholes, that somebody from the inside can see what's standing on the opposite side of the door, that somebody doesn't inadvertently just go ahead and open it because somebody knocked. So just to pass it along.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then we will go to closed session resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Township of Monroe hereby moves to go into closed session in accordance with Sunshine Law, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, NJSA 10:4-6 through 10:4-21, to discuss the following subjects: interview for math supervisor, board to receive legal advice on Jamesburg matter, superintendent's evaluation, student matters, harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents 40 through 43. The discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public at such time as the matters have been resolved. And do you have any idea how long this could take?
I'm going to say about an hour.
About an hour. And there could be action taken after the closed session. Is there a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Chiarella, Mr. Tesler, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? And at this time, the board will move into closed session. At this time, the board will reconvene into public session, and we will go to the public forum. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
I'm going to do that, Rezo.
Okay.
Liz Brewster, 29 Spruce Meadows Drive. I'll be quick, but I've been waiting. I would like to speak about a comment made at last meeting regarding the security in our schools. I drive both my children to and from school each day, and as a result, I have been in either Barclay Brook, Brookside, and or the middle school twice a day for the past 9 years. I feel very comfortable with the security and the safety of my children. Over the years, I have seen procedures change as the world has changed around us, and further measures are currently being taken to ensure the highest level of security. I know every security guard in these 3 schools, and they are amazing at their jobs. They know about every student, they know the parents, they know the siblings, and in many cases, the extended family members. They are not only top professionals, but are also both role models and friends to our parents and children. In particular, the security guard of Brookside School, Mrs. Karen Chu, is not only one of the best at her job, she is also a highly beloved and respected member of our community. I frankly don't understand that if indeed this individual was so concerned about the safety of our schools and children, why he didn't simply ask to speak to either Dr. Alvich, our principal, or Mr. Pepe, our assistant principal. Either could have explained the security protocol of the school. Putting partial information out there only causes panic in the community and is not helpful. Yes, if this gentleman had a gun, our beloved Mrs. Chu potentially could have had her life taken for our children. Yet this could also be the case at the local 7-Eleven, the mall, the movies, or any other place. The world can be a dangerous place. Although I personally do not think it is necessary, it is not an option for our taxpayers to support the $100,000 bill that Marlborough, New Jersey is footing every 90 days for armed guards. I do believe it is in the best interest of the children to move polling from the 3 schools that are affected and ask the administration and the board to explore that option. Okay, and on a personal note, as my son is graduating middle school tomorrow evening, I would like to thank all the wonderful staff at the middle school. It has been a fabulous 2 years for my son and our family. As we all know, this is a crazy age. Mrs. Chanley explained at orientation, you either have a passion to teach middle school or you run away from it. The passion of this staff shines through. I particularly want to acknowledge the spectacular teachers of Team Vega, the looping team that my son had for both years. Words cannot express my gratitude. And lastly, I want to thank my Barclay Brook family. We've been together such a long time and seen some turbulent changes over the past years. We are so thankful for our fabulous principal, Mrs. Erin Mahoney. Barclay Brook definitely has its mojo back. And I want to thank all of you guys because it has been a wonderful year, and I know it is a community effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public wishing to speak?
Okay. Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street, sorry. I did, I forgot. What is the, you had 4 closed session resolutions. How many of them have been resolved?
1.
Okay, so I take it that the interview
We will have a resolution
for the math
after the
supervisor this evening. We have not had any resolution to the legal advice on Jamesburg matter?
No.
Okay. Do we have any idea how long that's going to take? Do we have to wait for a written attorney?
It's ongoing. It could take a long time.
Okay. Superintendent's evaluation is ongoing also.
Yes, it is.
Is this the third closed session regarding that?
Yes.
That will go on as well, I take it?
Well, that is a confidential document between the Board of Education and the superintendent.
Okay, but it's not resolved yet anyway.
It will be resolved this week after you sign it.
Okay, because if it's done, then what do you have to, then what will happen after a signature? Then it gets put for the board for vote, or is it already?
No, it does not have to get put before the board for a vote.
So the matter is almost resolved?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one, we will close the public forum. And Dr. Hamilton has a resolution?
Yes. It is recommended by the superintendent that Sue Gasco be appointed as the district pre-K-12 supervisor of mathematics at a salary of $106,583, including a longevity of $2,380, effective July 1/13 through June 30th, 2014.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Chiarella, Mr. Masters, any comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call.
Mr. Chiarella.
Yes.
Mr. Zarneski. Yes. Mr. Kaufman.
Yes.
Mr. Master.
Yes.
Mr. Hoy.
Yes.
Mr. Prezioso.
Yes.
Mr. Tesler.
No.
Mrs. Colapanowicz.
Yes.
Madam Board President, motion passes.
Thank you. Is there any other business?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then our next scheduled Public Board of Education meeting will be Wednesday, July 17th, 2013, 7 o'clock PM at the high school. Motion to adjourn. So moved by Mr. Kaufman and Mr. Masters. All in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Peace and good night.